All right, this episode's going to be all about Rocket Raccoon.
Don't know what happened. Rocket what? Rocket.
Rocket Raccoon.
Okay, Rocket Raccoon.
That's just like we talked about. Keith Giffen's greatest creation ever.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I have no
Oh
clue.
no, wait, it's going to be all about it's going to be all about the Time Trapper.
Oh, really? What? I'm confused,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Maybe it's just because my computer's glitching. I need a new computer.
It could be. Everything seems to be glitching. Or Keith Giffen's
Yeah.
other greatest creation ever, the relaunch of like Drax the Destroyer.
What? I never saw that one.
Annihilation.
Oh no.
I mean, Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning had something to do with that stuff too, I believe.
Wow.
Oh no. This episode is going to be all about Scooby Apot. Oh wait, we did that already.
Oh my goodness.
No. So I'm just like, I made Greg laugh because he didn't expect Rocket Raccoon, but we are talking about, well, Greg, do you want to? So I ask you what we
Yeah.
should read next, and you said,
I said because we are rolling into the month of December, and I was like, well, it's holiday season. We did a holiday issue last year. I figured, why don't we keep that kind of thing going? Why don't we? I was like, Dan, dig into your boxes and find me a fun holiday issue to read. And I had visions of sugar plums dancing in my head. I was excited because last year I think we had a couple really good, like the last couple years you've
like last
really
year when we had
like,
Wonder Woman submitting to men and could be bound forever if she agrees
whoa.
willingly to be bound by men, like last year. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I was gonna say like the
But that
Batman
was
story is
in the
really
Christmas
good, and
comic
then
book that we yeah, the Batman story was really good, but also there was the
I
Wonder Woman
I
story.
I was gonna skip over the awkward Wonder Woman story.
I see. So you're
Uh,
forgetting, you remember
I'm not
burying,
forgetting. I was skipping over the awkward Wonder Woman
remember?
story. I was skipping over the awkward Wonder Woman story and then jumping into the wrestling story that was really good, with a real wrestler from the past who dressed up
Yeah.
like a Santa Claus, who beat up the bad guys and helped the uh, our superheroes that were knocked unconscious.
Yeah,
And
and you
that
were
was that
thinking
was
about
that
the
was a good one.
Batman story where Batman tried to take a
Yeah.
day off and Christmas time and beautiful Neil Adams art. You weren't thinking about William Moulton Marston and how he was teaching children about the importance of women submitting to men. You forgot that one?
Wow.
Merry
And I
Christmas.
I never said I forgot it. I said I was skipping over it,
I
um,
see. So we've really
because
nailed it last year on our Christmas special. We
uh,
we we
we
were
had
amazing.
no, and
I
we
mean,
also had another
it
we had other Christmas stuff that we talked about in prior podcasts as well. But
well, this one that
we had
I
Superman
remember that.
talking about we had Superman delivering toys for Santa Claus, and
We had giant size. We did do Superman. Oh yeah, Superman did deliver toys for Santa Claus. I remember that. That one
yeah,
was great. Uh,
and
but
we had a
last
guy
year,
try to shoot Santa Claus with a shotgun because he thought he was getting burglarized.
yeah.
'Cause, that's very befitting of a 2025 Christmas special.
Well, this year, Keith Giffen, Alan Grant, and Simon Bisley decided to create a comic completely in line. If you were going to combine 2000 AD, which both Alan Grant and Simon Bisley worked
Uh-huh.
on,
Yeah, yeah.
with Howard the Duck,
Uh-huh.
you would have
Yeah.
this comic.
Kinda sorta, yeah, and I was excited because, it was something that I hadn't read, and, I was like, "What a Christmas gift. This is exactly what I see some good stuff all coming together here," and I was all excited because, if it lines up with all my wishes and stuff like that, I think, I got the fat jolly man on the cover, and I'm sitting there thinking I'm all excited because maybe he'll bring me a new computer for Christmas.
Yeah, well, when
We'll
this
see.
book came out, you would have been 14 years old,
Yeah.
and
Hold
I
on,
would have
let's
been
see what
16 years old,
yeah, yeah.
and I believe I was starting high school then, and you were not,
Mhm.
and I
I
believe
was
I bought this book, but wasn't buying comics with you yet,
yeah, correct. I was still hanging out at the junior high.
and so I believe that maybe you weren't aware that I own this comic,
I am not aware. I was not aware until you told me, before the podcast, and I was like, "Wow,
but Keith
really?"
Giffen's name is on it,
Mhm.
so I probably bought it.
Righto.
And Alan Grant and Keith Giffen also did member when we last had Lobo on the podcast in Legion.
Oh,
L
yeah.
period GE period G period I period O
Space.
period N period. Yeah. And so,
With the
well,
space
look,
dolphins.
yeah, well, the space dolphins do make an appearance in one panel in this book. Those are his fish.
Gotta love it.
Well, also,
Space fish.
they are, um, they also belong to the Church of the Triple Fish God. It's very important.
Triple fish. Yeah, well, it is very
I
important because this
I
is
mean,
the
Lobo
season with
universe
the 7
building
dishes.
is Lobo
7
universe
fishes.
building is very important.
Yes.
Can you name 2 of Lobo's aliases?
2 of his aliases?
He has many.
Um,
Many
I
of them
couldn't,
were referenced in this comic.
um, I couldn't tell you.
Well, what about the main man? They said that many
Oh, the
times.
main man. Yeah, the main man and
They
Lobo.
also got one toward the end, Machete Man,
Oh, Machete, yeah, Machete Man. I think
The
it's
Last
yeah,
Caesarian, Caesarian, Caesarian,
Cesaro.
Caesarian,
Yeah,
Mr. Machete,
Mr. Machete.
The Ultimate Bastich, Master Frag, The Lord of Death. And you might be thinking, dear listeners, why am I talking about this when Greg asked me to pick out a Christmas comic book? Well, I grabbed from the long boxes the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas Special from 1991 by Keith Giffen, Alan Grant, and Simon Bisley because I'm having a week and I felt this was the best way to celebrate that week.
I mean, it's a fantastic it's almost like, um, a very I would say this is the book that inspired, uh, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, here's a couple of strange things about this book that I'm going to share. I don't think it
Yeah.
did. I'm going to gloss over that.
Why not?
Uh,
What you're gonna gloss over that? But I mean,
I
he
think it
finds
inspired some other things that we can talk
yeah,
about, namely a movie that
okay.
came out last year.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
No. What was
Oh,
the movie that came out last year where Santa was fighting the robbers and
um, I don't know.
you don't know?
There's
I
I
rely
didn't
on you
watch
for
it.
a couple of
I
small
didn't
things,
watch it.
pop culture
What I didn't
references.
watch what
Yeah, you're too busy
I didn't
watching
watch the mo
reality TV and
yeah, I know, I've been
teenage
watching that
dramas
reality
with
TV.
Anne to pay attention
Yeah,
to
yeah.
important
I've
things
been
like Santa
I
murdering
didn't watch
people.
that I didn't watch that San there's, like, the 2 there's the 2 movies in which Santa is, like, he's shooting
Yeah,
RPGs and beating up bad
yeah,
guys.
that. Yes.
One had what, David Harbour, and the other one had, Mel Gibson. I don't know which one was which.
It
I
was
didn't
not
see
Mel
either of
Gibson. It
them.
was not that one.
Okay, well, I
It
know
was
that
David
one.
Harbour.
Okay.
Oh, it was December 2022. My bad.
Yeah, I know. I
Um,
know they both came out,
it's called
like, I
Violent
think
Night. I
Violent
believe
Night.
that might have been inspired by this book here.
Okay, maybe. There's a new one where Santa gets kidnapped that came out this year, and it's got, um, The Rock and, the uh, America's ass in it. America's
Well,
ass.
I was gonna watch the new Dear Santa movie with the person from the bad half of Tenacious D is in starring in.
Oh, dear Santa, dear Satan.
Yeah. The remember like Tenacious D has like one talented
Yes,
performer and then one untalented performer.
yes,
Yeah.
and he's the untalented one.
The untalented one keeps getting to be in every movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's good.
Anyway, yes,
We have the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas Special. I think I already said that. It on the cover it
yes.
says warning contains bad taste in the form of ultra violence, icon bashing, and the finger, more
Ooh,
offensive than Christmas usually is.
ay.
In the other corner, it says suggested for mature readers.
I still
And
can't read
so
this book. I'm
I was
not
about to
mature
say I had to
enough.
put it away. I had to put it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you read this book, I don't know that it should be suggested for mature readers, but that's okay.
I don't think any of our
Uh,
listeners can read this book.
I think this is a very controversial book.
Oh yeah, no, I got. I'm gonna just off the top. I mean, the cover. It looks like Santa's helping him build a nice little snowman.
It looks like you just
They're
murdered
having.
Santa Claus.
No, Santa's making a snowball. He's got his knife out. He's gonna carve up a face like a pumpkin. That's why I felt it was very, like, a Nightmare Before Christmas feeling. He's got that nice feel to it. He's got a little skull on his crotch. He's gonna put that on the snowman. Little crotch imprint. Kakunk, little kakunk right
Can
there.
I just say the Simon Bisley art is uh, perfect for this book.
All the way through. Yeah, no, I kept going back and going, geez, this is really good. This is
Going back
this
to
is
the 2000 AD roots, like I would not appreciate this art in most books, but for this book,
for this book. Yeah.
it's absolute perfection. Well, let's get to page 1,
All right,
and
if we
we've got
must.
a house. We've got a house on a. Oh, this book doesn't have page numbers.
Yeah, I know. I love that part about it. It's a gift to you. No page numbers.
So let's go to the page inside the cover. Since there are no page
Inside the
numbers, it's
cover.
impossible to help people follow along this long $2.39 book. Why they charge $2.39 for it is also beyond me. It seems like the strangest price ever for a
Holiday
comic.
special. Holiday special. Got to get that money.
Yeah. Well, um, there's this weird looking house on a hill, and they're singing Silent Night, Holy Night, all is calm. It says Christmas season, snow, Santa, and goodwill to all. When even alien worlds dust off their Bing Crosby albums, stock up on mincemeat pies, exchange seasonal gifts, and get down to some serious revelry. Can
Ah.
you just tell the first page is already dripping with sarcasm?
Oh yes, very much so.
And we start off with a couple fighting.
hmm It's very Christmassy. It feels
Yeah.
like it's got the marks of a Hallmark slash Lifetime right there on the page.
I thought,
More
yeah,
Lifetime than Hallmark.
I thought, first off, imagine the housewives from Glow.
Oh,
One of them
okay.
got older and
Mhm.
married an aging David McLean,
Okay.
the host and founder of Glow,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is the couple.
This is the couple. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
and then they're in a fight because the guy got fired from his job for counting time while he was in the bathroom.
Just
How much how often do you have to do that to get fired?
going to the bathroom?
No, like, stealing time for
Oh,
going to the bathroom.
I don't know. I mean, who knows?
I think the other thing in this book is you have to pay attention to stuff in the background of the art. Like, they have this cat that I didn't even notice on the first read through.
Oh, yeah, no, there's a
When I
lot of
say
stuff in the
first
back.
read through, I see it mean first read through since, like, 1990 something.
Right.
This isn't one I pull out every year, surprisingly.
The cat, all the other stuff just dripping on the edges of everything.
Yeah. Her rollers flying off.
Mhm.
It's just yeah, it's cool. So,
Yeah.
Keith Giffen did the layouts for this, and then Bisley drew it, so it was a combined effort there. I just wonder too, with the Giffen art we've seen in the past,
Yeah.
how many hints in the layouts that Giffen is just throwing crap in the background, and then Bisley's, like, digging into it, or if it's
Just
Bisley
yeah.
just coming up with everything. It's probably both, right?
Yeah, probably a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I mean, remember the Legion backgrounds Giffen was drawing
Oh,
that were
holy
insanity?
cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No wonder he burned himself out as an artist for a few minutes.
Right.
It was, like, insane what he would draw.
So
Well,
much.
anyway, um, well, the guy says it's fragging stupid time of the year. Jolly my butt. Whoever invented Christmas ought to be roasting in hell. Sorry, kids, but you know what they say: do unto others before they blast your butt. So he's getting ready to kill his kids.
I think so.
Yeah, wow, that's weird. It's like the opposite of
It
the Teen Titans books.
right?
Or Titans,
Or it's
yeah,
parenticide.
yeah. In every issue, um, a lot of parasite was happening.
Yeah.
But
Parasite.
in here, apparently, he's off to kill the kids because he doesn't make enough money anymore to support them.
And can't give them a good Christmas. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it'll all make itself really uh,
Well,
evident.
apparently the babies do something too. We don't get to see them because mom says, I'm presuming this is mom, says, set it on automatic. We don't want any vengeance crazed survivors on our hands. Remember what the baby did to Chuck and Marge last year?
Oh,
So apparently their child has killed others.
okay.
I don't know. This is very weird.
Yeah. Interesting story so far. And it just
And then
started.
somebody knocks on the door and the woman opens and says, yes, can I shoot this? That is, can I help you? And there's a book, and they get a holiday book, and they're like, well, hell, it's only a book.
It's only a
And
book. Let's take a
the
look.
lady's worried about a booby trap or cyanide or plastique in it. Good
Yeah, it's
God.
gonna blow up or kill them somehow.
What kind of planet is this?
It's a messed up planet. That's what it is.
Are we in like
And
another dimension or
the
something?
the guy looks like Bill the cat.
Well, anyway, you're right. Well, they read the book, they open the book, and we get a page to start the book. No job, no money, no prospects, no Christmas. Each year, thousands of parents die in incidents of domestic violence perpetrated by their own and very irate children. Oh, so it is parasite.
Yeah. Okay.
Y- Yes, that's right. So they're defending themselves. Oh, I get it. The whole beginning, this is what inspired those awful movies where everybody has to hide and they get to kill everybody for one night.
Oh, yes,
This
yes. The
inspired
the
The
Purge.
Purge.
I've seen
The
them
Purge
all except
1,
for
The
the new
Purge Merry Christmas, The Purge
the Purge Merry
Silent
Christmas.
Night,
I don't think they
The
did.
The Purge Hanukkah, The Purge
No.
Kwanzaa,
No.
The Purge Festivus.
Yes. Put your grievance in the poll.
You remember that one?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, every think of every type of holiday around here. It's important. So, each year thousands of I read that part. Sorry. Uh, what can you do to prevent your death? Fortunately, the answer is simple. Merrily read this book to your children.
Oh.
The Lobo Christmas Sanction, or "'Tis the season to be jolly, rat-a-tat-tat, a tat-tat-tat." Oh, I believe that was a G.I. Joe book. Christmas that was the G.I. Joe Christmas special.
Oh, okay.
The G.I. Joe Christmas, rat-a-tat-tat,
Oh,
a tat-tat-tat.
uh
Did
yes,
you read that
yes.
one?
I might have.
I'm
The
gonna
one
find that in
where
the long
Cobra
boxes. Yeah.
Commander and they shrink all the tanks and stuff like that and airplanes, and they wrap them up as presents, and then they unshrink them after they get open so that they can attack the town.
Please tell me that's true.
I believe that's the story.
Yes. Why are we reading that?
Next year. We have to save stuff for next year, Dan.
Why aren't we reading that? Well,
Save it for
anyway,
next year. I
whoa,
thought
you
that's what
say,
you're gonna
what
bring
difference?
out, but
Whoa, you say, what difference can one poxy little book make? Is that poxy? Is that the word? Well, to which we
Foxy.
say, read it to them and see. Backed by our cast iron guarantee. If your kids still want a Christmas after the reading, we will pick up all the burial expenses up to but not exceeding 3,500 credits. What other publisher dares put his money where his mouth is? Try it. You've nothing to lose but your terror. A public service
Oh,
brought to you by Keith Giffen, Simon Bisley, Lovern Kindzierski on colors. By the way, the coloring in this book is spot on
it's very good.
for what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gaspar on letters. That'd be
Mhm.
Saladino Gaspar. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Dan Raspler edited this, though I'm not really sure that this book needed an editor. I can't imagine why anybody would edit this book.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was an awkward pause. You just grinned like you're like, I would take the money to edit this book, Dan. Thank you.
I would. I would.
Well, anyway, they're reading the cover and they read on to check it out.
Yeah, to check
So
it
we get
out.
once upon a time, there was this really cool dude, and there was also a dog. Do you know the name of Lobo's dog?
Is it dog?
It is. Did you really know that, or did you just say,
I think that's what he's like, "And this is my dog." Dog,
yeah, it's his
when he
dog,
introduced
dog?
I don't know
I
why
feel
this
like
dog's been following me around.
now, do you feel like Crossbones?
Ripped off Lobo?
Yeah, but then put a mask on,
Kinda. Yeah, yeah, oh, definitely.
or is it Shitty Bane?
Oh, who? Lobo Shitty Bane or Bane
Crossbones is
is
Shitty
shitty?
Bane, but if it Lobo
Oh,
is Crossbones without a mask, then is he just Shitty Bane without a mask?
Crossbones is Shitty Bane
Okay,
without a mask.
we're leaving Crossbones out of this.
Yeah, we're leaving
Uh,
Crossbones, yeah.
well, Lobo
Crossbones
wants
don't got a dog.
something. Uh, Lobo wants something, and he tells a bartender he's supposed to be mating something, and he says, "In the back, in a booth, Inagata Devita."
It's a long drum solo.
Oh my god, there are a lot of these in this book. Anyway, Lobo goes to the back and he meets a bunny rabbit.
A drunk
And
bunny.
yeah, and here's
Get
where
your
we get the
hands off
Howard
the
the Duck
bunny.
influence. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
this is really where we get the Howard the Ducks. If Howard the Duck was in 2000 AD and was a rabbit, this would be it, right?
Right. Oh,
I
definitely.
mean, just full stop. And honestly, I
Keep
feel
it
like this has some Howard influences in it.
Mhm.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if Keith Giffen was a Howard the Duck fan.
Oh, totally. I mean, get this drunk bunny
Well,
paying
anyway,
paying Lobo to do a job.
Yeah. We'll sum up these 2 pages. Besides the dog wanting to eat the rabbit, which makes
Yeah,
sense,
right.
we find out, that Santa Claus, see, he's gotten way too big for his britches, see. Hell, Christmas is out of control. Santa killing us. How can we compete with his colored with some what's some colored eggs or an early spring compared to tinsel, turkey, and snow?
Mm.
And the bunny wants Santa dead,
Oh my gosh.
and Lobo takes the contract, and he goes out to his really cool bike,
Mhm. Where's the dog gonna sit?
and we get, I don't know, but probably in front, but
Okay.
we do get the space fish, the dolphins, on the next page just for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, "Oh,
They've made an
yay,
appearance.
space dolphins,
Yeah.
they made appearance."
Don't
I was quite
accidentally run
happy.
into one of those dolphins. We found that out in the last time we saw
Oh,
Lobo.
yeah,
Bad
you
news.
are screwed.
You know what this comic needs?
What?
Garen Beck.
Oh my gosh, if it had the Baxter,
Yeah.
that
It'd be
would
like,
be
oh my God, why do we have to be here? Everything
"Oh,
is
Lobo,
horrible.
why are we here with you doing whatever you're doing? Oh,
You think
this
Garen
is
Beck
too"
was like just never got past age 16?
stunted, like, yeah, Arrested Development,
Yeah,
you know?
I think
Just
so. What game would he be playing? Baldur's Gate. Done.
Yep, yep.
He'd be playing Baldur's Gate and never leaving his room.
Are my pizza rolls done yet? Oh, they're too hot. I gotta let them cool down. Now they're too cold. Oh,
Oh.
oh, I really only like the red dew.
Oh god. Ugh, yep,
What?
yep, you're dead on here. Oh, wow. Well, Lobo is, we get to, Lobo loads up to get ready to murder Santa, and then we get a picture of the North Pole. That
Click,
looks very
frack.
different than the North Pole I remember in
Oh,
the
I know. It's very
yeah,
industrial.
I didn't see this North Pole in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
No. This one
Well,
looks like, oh man, there was some movie that I watched where they industrialized the North Pole and make it all like whatever, and people could go on vacations there, and it turned into like whatever. Yeah, this is that North Pole.
was that like Santa versus the Martians? Like,
I don't know.
wasn't
Yeah,
that a luchador movie?
it might have been
Was that an
industrialized
El
North
Santo
Pole.
movie?
El Santo, where
El
he's
Santo
like,
is in a lot of movies.
yes, he pulls up in his cool car, jumps out. He's driving a convertible up to the North Pole, and he's standing there in his suit with this luchador mask and his two sidekicks, and then there's a Sasquatch out of nowhere because
In
it
fact,
happens.
Santa Claus conquers the Martians. Oh, my bad. I don't know
It
if it
makes them
was a.
elves.
I don't think it was an El Santo movie. Wow, it was in color. It's very important.
Wouldn't that be
Uh,
interesting if Santa conquered the Martians and that's how we got elves?
well, it was directed by a person named Nicholas Webster,
Mm,
who made a lot of other films. In
yeah,
fact, he directed a total of 29 whole films and TV
W-
shows.
were they straight to DVD, straight to
I don't think
like
they had DVDs when this film was made.
straight to VHS, straight to the theater, straight to the like second run theater.
Yeah, most of these are TV shows.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I mean, we can't all be great. So the Santa Claus is well. There's some narration on this page. It says, "Far to
Oh,
the
okay.
north, in the land everlasting of everlasting ice, lay the stronghold of Santa Claus, a brutal dictator repeatedly slammed by Amnesty International. He ran his empire with an iron fist." Planned malnutrition kept his army small in stature, but fighting fit and fierce as ferrets. His parents.
Jeez.
Jesus. Um,
Oh my gosh.
only highly sophisticated public relations techniques and a once a year charity splurge kept his image smooth with the public. Jolly Santa Claus, the world called him, but his slaves knew him better as Chris Crusher Kringle.
Whoa.
Now, why did Chris Crusher Kringle never fight the Undertaker on a Christmas special?
Because he was because Chris Crusher Kringle was part of it because the Undertaker was with WWE
Yeah.
and Chris Crusher Kringle was he was still wrestling ECW.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. He
So
was,
it just never happened. We never got that crossover. Um,
yeah, that does make sense. Well,
did you like that?
look,
That was good, right?
yeah, yeah, that was it was a reach. I mean, this is 91, this comic, and that would have been like 93 or 94, but I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay, I mean, it's a build up. It's a build up.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean, not to ruin your joke by dating it and making it all Dan like, but it would only be me if I was here doing that. So it does make sense. Are you gonna play the noise now? Please don't play a noise. It don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
I'm
You know
getting a
what's
laugh
gonna
for
hurt?
myself. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did. I got a laugh for
Yeah.
myself.
Well, Lobo is pontificating over the fact that there are only two guards, and he murders them right away and starts
Punt,
invading the
punt.
stronghold of Santa Claus. Um, there are two dead elves or small people that fight like ferrets, and there's some very scared penguins in the background. And he runs into an electrified fence, and him and Dog blow it up with some C4. And
Yeah,
then
just like
he he gets in. And by the way, I mentioned the coloring in this. This
yeah,
page with all
it's
the toys, and
wild.
the first off, there's a
Yes.
Batman toy in the background, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and,
And
like, everything
we
else
got the
is just
small
super
fighting force.
psychedelic. Yeah. Literally a small fighting force because 'cause they're elves, they're tiny. You know
And
what they would need? They need they need Paul, the king of the little people.
they do, because they said what we need is a union. We could make rules about this kind of thing. And the guy says, sure, could also have Crusher cut off your lips.
Oh,
Wow. All right.
they should call Paul.
Well, an intruder breaches the gates, and here it's Lobo,
Oh,
and
no.
they're like, "Oh, he's got a bomb," and oh, the elves are like,
Oh,
"The
no.
naughtiest one has come." Oh, does that
Mm.
mean they're gonna summon back their good friend Will Ferrell?
He comes all the way back from New York.
Yeah.
"I've got syrup!"
Honestly, I sort of wish Elf had come out before this comic so we could get Bob Hope's photo or Bob Hope's face on one of the elves, because that would have been funny. Or not Bob
Oh,
Hope.
that'd have been
What
funny.
is wrong with my brain? Not Bob Hope.
I don't know.
Bob Newhart. Good God, Dan.
Bob Newhart. Bob
Yes,
New
Bob
Hope.
Newhart. Bob
Bob
New
New
Hope.
Hope.
Bob Newhart was the elf that guided.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Okay. He was
Bob
also
New Hope.
well, Bob New. It's Bob. That's like a Star Wars crossover.
Bob Hopehart.
Bob New Hope.
Bob Hopehart.
Bob New Hope was the wizard at the end of the first episode or this fourth episode of Star Wars, which was really the first episode because we don't count the
Yes,
first three episodes because they suck.
yes. He was the space
Well, I
wizard
like the
that
end of the
defeated
third one.
he defeated Voldemort.
What? Oh my God.
He said
I was watching.
he
I
said,
was.
"You're a wizard, Lobo."
I have a relevant question to this comic book.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not a Christmas movie?
No, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a Christmas movie, right? We were getting
Yeah.
into like apparently Bruce Willis said it's a Bruce Willis movie.
Oh, well, Bruce Willis
It's
says
not
it's
a
a Bruce
Christmas
Willis
movie. It's a
movie. I
Bruce
mean,
Willis movie.
you want a really good Christmas movie, watch Old Boy.
That's fair. But I would say right here, I would say right
Guess
here, this movie has a lot in common with Die Hard.
Travis is
Oh,
calling.
no. Oh, hi, Travis. Of course he's calling. He
Of
knows we
course,
podcast at Tuesday
I
nights,
know. He gets a reminder that says that we're podcasting on this right now.
so he won't call.
Yeah, but he calls
And
anyways.
that reminds him to call.
Yeah, yeah.
We're referring to Travis, by the way, the author of many things, including Starlight.
It's so funny because he literally gets a reminder about the podcast being at this time for
Don't
an
call. Type
hour,
of thing.
and he calls right in the middle of it.
Well, uh,
Every
well,
week.
Lobo, Lobo totally breaks in and just murders everyone.
He
Is
kills
that
them
a
all.
good idea? There's a lot
Um,
of fantastic dialogue going on in the background too that I'm just ignoring.
Fantastic dialogue, and then this crazy artwork with the click, 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 and it's like it looks 3D, and the ogas and everything. I mean, it's so much stuff going on these pages, and just like Lobo just looks like he just looks massively awesome.
Well, then we get a page of them telling the naughtiest one he's surrounded.
Yeah.
And then we get another page where all the elves shoot Lobo with pop guns.
Oh, they got him. Got him.
And Lobo just looks at them and goes, "Ah, ain't they just so cute?" And then uses his automatic guns that he got out, just like and slaughters all of them. He murders all of the elves.
Don't worry, everybody. It's Nerf gun. He shoots them with Nerf guns. Nothing but Nerf. It's
He
Christmas.
says, "Eat hot lead, you unnatural
Oh,
dwarf geek suckers."
oh my gosh, I was wrong. It wasn't Nerf.
No, it,
Oh my gosh.
um, and then we follow pages of elves getting cut in half with guns, their necks sawed off with guns, their heads shot in, their
Yeah,
eyeballs shooting out,
yeah.
uh,
I
and
he tears him in half. I mean,
yeah,
just eviscerates these poor elves are just there's nothing left. They're
they were
blood,
just
guts,
hungry.
gore. They were hungry. They wanted to eat popcorn strands off the trees and candy canes and other things like that, gingerbread houses, and they were just hoping that maybe he would like, help them. But no, no, no. He
I mean, they did
He
shoot him
murdered them dead
first.
with pop guns.
And Lobo says, hi ho, it's off to work I go. I rip off heads, I shoot them dead, I blow their guts out through their butts, hi frag and ho."
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Notice I didn't try to sing it.
That's good. It's good.
And then he said, "What's that? Wrong dwarfs, huh? Okay, get a load of this." And he murders some more. Dog has a uh, dog has an elf arm in his mouth, and Lobo sings some more. "You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Bo is coming to town."
Oh.
And then there's one last one left, and Dog chases him down, rips his arms off, eats his head, eats his inside,
Oh.
and Lobo sings, or Dog sings. He sees you when you're. I didn't know Dog could sing. He sees you
Dog
when
can
you're
sing.
sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. So be bad for badness' sake. Oh
Wow.
God, this book. Um, and there is a pile of dead elves.
Just yeah, it is. They've been shot. They've been torn in half, and it is a pile of them. It is so
I
many
mean, the
dead
best thing
elves.
I can say about this comic book so far is, I mean, the art is cool. This is a Lobo comic, so the best thing I can say
Yeah.
about this comic is it's a Lobo comic. You know, what's important is Lobo comics should be taken very seriously and analyzed in depth.
Right. Yes,
right, for
definitely.
their yeah, I mean, this is the type of
Um,
book when I'm thinking I just needed to pause for a second. I mean,
it,
when I'm
that
thinking about comics,
yeah.
yeah,
You needed to bring down a Lobo doll, an
yeah,
action figure, a
I'm thinking
figurine for
about,
action.
"Hey,
Yes.
this is a McFarlane, I think." Yeah, look at that, see?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's very nice.
It's all
Very
dusty on
nice.
top.
That's all right.
Lobo has the
Cha
guns
cha
here.
cha. Yeah.
He has his chain.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see any guns, he just has his big chain. Well,
Oh,
anyway.
it's for smacking.
Alright. Well, anyway, back to the podcast. If you were listening to this, you weren't that excited, and since we don't do
You
videos, even though we record them,
we
you should now
record the
have a logo.
videos, but they're only for us to see
Well, eventually they're gone.
currently.
I mean, I'm wearing my cool hat today that I didn't give you yet.
I'm wearing a cool hat.
Well, you have to come to my house.
Well, eventually. I will. You're looking at me
In
like, "Well,
2020
whatever."
in 2029,
No,
on
no,
his
no,
way
no, no.
while moving out of town, Greg stops by the house briefly.
Psh, whatever.
Anyway,
I'll be down there in a week or 2.
uh-huh. So
Psh.
sure. Uh, so,
Oh my goodness.
uh, Lobo goes on his hunt to uh, find Santa Claus.
Uh-huh.
He basically enters Assad's. How did I mess up the leader of Syria's name so badly? I'm trying to make a timely reference
Yeah,
here. Al Assad. I get it right that time.
close enough. I'll allow it.
Okay. And basically walks into his house. Santa's like palace. There's
There.
all
His
this
palace
stuff
there.
everywhere. Yeah. And we get Santa at the top of the stairs, smoking a
Mhm.
giant cigar with a giant monkey behind him. And he says, "Please call me Chris or Sir. This is my roommate Kong. Can he fetch you a drink?" And Lobo says, "In your beard, lard ball. Pucker up, payback time for a few miserable childhood." I don't know. Uh, Lobo seems to be very angry with Santa, even though he doesn't know anything about him, except that he got paid to kill him.
Yeah, yeah. I got paid to kill you. Me and my dog are gonna kill you.
I like it when he says this. Santa says, "So you say sounds like an excuse to me. Of course, if you're a lily liver afraid of a poor old coot, it could take you in a fair fight." Lobo says, "Bad move, Clyde." Who's Clyde?
I don't know. Just some name that he
Now
likes
your
to
death will
throw out.
take now your death will take 10 times longer. Isn't Clyde like one of the ghosts in Pac-Man?
Yes.
Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde. I don't know why I
I
know that.
believe you're correct.
Can you imagine if I would
Mhm.
have not read any comic books and studied things in or did any pop culture and just learned science?
Mhm.
Would I have like cured something or something by now?
Mm, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, Dan.
Inky, Pinky, Blinky, and Clyde. But I know that from the deep recesses of my brain. Why? I don't know.
because because
Do you know that they originally weren't ghosts?
what were they?
I don't remember.
Hmm.
I don't. I figured you would know. You know these things.
I mean,
Why are
I
you
have
just
a
smiling at me and like shrugging your
because
shoulders?
I could I'm like I should know this. I have a giant Pac-Man displayed behind me of Pac-Man
Yeah,
stuff, but
it's right there.
Huh? But I
Well,
don't
anyway,
I don't have the history of Pac-Man next to me, although it is.
we discover that Santa has an elf-o-matic cloning unit. I
Oh
guess
my god.
that's to make us not feel so bad about all the elves getting
All the
murdered.
dead elves. So he's got more elves on the way if he wants them.
And Santa decides to get in a knife fight with Lobo, which seems like a terrible idea.
Hey,
Um,
I mean, you know.
and basically, Santa says, "Oh, I find a good sharp blade works best on the particularly naughty, because
Mm.
Lobo's the naughtiest." And Lobo says, "Blow it out your butt." Um, so I find that the Lobo dialogue at this point is about quality, is about like second grade quality. I think
I love it.
it's fantastic. And Lobo says, "Famous last words, Fatso," and starts cutting Santa Claus up.
They go to work. It's violent.
Yeah, Santa says, "You die, you naughty bastard." And Lobo cuts off his face and his eyeballs
Yeah.
and murders Santa
There's
Claus,
blood
cuts off his
everywhere.
head. And the penguins yell, "Free of the tyrant at last." Kong
Yeah.
looks sad. Dog
Yeah.
looks gleeful.
Mhm.
And the penguins yell, "Three cheers for the main man."
Yay.
And Lobo says, season's greetings, fats." Oh
And there's
boy.
blood everywhere. It's spurting out of the neck stump.
Well, then we get to the next page and we have a whole closet full of Santa's fetish gear he uses with his elves.
Is it with
So
the elves or is it with this with Kong?
I think it was with the elves because they reference
Okay.
that it's small. Now, I
Oh,
will
okay.
say that I will say that I now get it. Um, I'm actually mad at Keith for writing this book with Alan Grant. I'm mad at them.
You're mad at them? Why?
Yes, because this created the whole QAnon
Oh,
pedophilia conspiracy. They read this book and they were like,
uh-huh.
all world leaders do is have sex with the elves
With the elves? Yes, with the elves.
who are children.
Oh, but they're clones.
Right. And that Santa lives in a pizza shop in Washington,
Oh
D.C.
god.
with no basement that has a basement.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened here. They read this book and that's what they
Yes.
extrapolated. I bet
They
Q,
uh-huh.
you know,
And they thought they would become a Lobo?
Can Star Trek sue? Can the Roddenberry estate sue the QAnon
Probably.
Q
Maybe,
for
and then they
stealing the
could
gimmick?
stealing the name. Yes.
Can John Delancey just punch him in the face?
Maybe. Let's hope.
Can he frag him? There's a lot of
Uh,
fragging that would happen in this
a lot
book.
of fragging.
Well, uh, Lobo storms off, and the penguins follow him. And the penguins are considering whether or not they should go back to the South Pole and be with their families. And they're like, "No, we want to join Lobo's gang." Lobo gets the naughty and nice list. He gets the world's best data bank, he's thinking.
Yeah.
And he's planning on murdering everybody who's naughty. So there he has no competitors, which is fantastic. That's very Lobo thinking right there. High
Very.
level thought. This book is full of high level thought concepts. Uh, then you don't spend your. Then we get some narration. You don't spend your life with earn your very living from weapons of mass destruction and destruction without picking up a little technical know how along the way. In fact, Lobo is with Kong, and Dog is loading up all these nuclear weapons that Santa Claus had to launch at all the naughty children in one last
Oh
effort
my.
to get rid of them all. And then Lobo goes out looking for somebody to lead his sleigh.
Mhm.
And he goes, "Rudolph, lead my sleigh tonight, or I'll blow you away." And Rudolph says, "No, never. You're naughty, much too naughty." And he shoots Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but we see it off panel because we
Yeah.
wouldn't want to see reindeer violence.
No, no, no.
Well, it's on panel technically, but it's inside of a
Yeah.
house, the stable.
Yeah, yeah.
Wha- So Lobo loads up with all the reindeer with a giant bag on the sleigh. He says, "Ho ho, fraggin' ho! All right, you walk in entrees. Pucker up. We got work to do." And one of them is like, We?" And the other
Mm.
one says, "Shh, tired of living?" So
Yeah.
Lobo takes off with the giant thing of bombs, and he releases all the bombs to celebrate Christmas. And it says, "So it came to pass on a midnight clear, a new star arose in the east, and the naughty learned just what happens to those who threaten the main man's peace of mind.
Mm.
And the nice, well, let's just say they learned young what it means to be innocent victims. Let 'em
Oh
rip,
my.
Kong. Give those suckers the old seasonal boom." And then we get back to the parents, and they're like, "Incredible, a literary masterpiece. And better, it might just work. Might. Hell, there's no way it can't work. It's a snecking godsend. The kids will be eating out of our hands. Saved, we're saved. Oh joy, we're saved. Come on, read the last page. Maybe it gets better. Right here we go." And then the last page says, "The book is good for only one read. Gotcha, sucker." And
Oh,
it poofs.
no.
And the man says, "Don't fret, honey. I'll say goodnight to the kids for you," as he walks upstairs with his gun. And all we get to
Oh,
see is blam, kachik, blam, kachik, blam, kachik, while everybody's singing Silent Night, Holy Night, all is calm. So we don't know if kids murdered dad or dad murdered kids, but there was something going on. There's either
I
straight up
remember that.
murder or parricide happening. We're not sure. And we get Lobo on the last page flipping everybody off saying, "Merry Christmas, compadres. Ho, ho, fraggin' ho." Well, Greg, I can't hear your thing, but what did you think of this masterpiece?
Oh boy. This was a dark comic book for the holiday season, Dan. And if I was going to ask Santa Claus for a new computer, I think you destroyed all those wishes. So now I can't even ask the fat man for one, and I have to ask Lobo, and Lobo will just say no. So there will be no computer for me this year for Christmas because we know the answer is going to be no from Santa because he's dead, and Lobo will tell me to kick rocks. So I don't know why you would do such a thing since you know that I wanted a new computer so badly and so sadly.
Yeah.
Oh, listeners, why would Dan do such a thing to me? He knows that I believe in Santa so much and love Santa so much, and he would make me read such a terrible, terrible story about Lobo killing Santa Claus.
I think one of the things when I read this book is like,
Yeah.
how did it get published?
It's that that's a great question because this is a doozy of a story.
It just
Beginning to
proved that
end.
Keith Giffen could get whatever he wanted at that time from DC.
Yeah. And the DC would publish a story like, "Hey, we got this idea. One, we're gonna have some parents that are gonna like they want to kill their kids, or their kids are gonna kill them. We don't know. It's set at Christmas time. I know it sounds crazy. And oh yeah, it's a Lobo book, and he's gonna kill Santa because the Easter Bunny has paid him off to do so. It's bonkers, legit crazy pants. But the kids are I mean, it's not for kids, but they're gonna love it. They're gonna get their hands on it. It's gonna cost
Yeah.
$2.39 because that's a really great Christmas price. $2.39.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking
239.
like I'm thinking like so Lobo had to be a successful book, right?
Yeah?
Otherwise they wouldn't give him this much leeway, right?
It was Dogs and His Dolphin that were selling the book. people love the dog and they love the dolphin.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you'd think to get
um,
something like this, right, you would have to be a high-selling book,
I
right? I mean, you'd
honestly,
you'd think
yeah, no, I think so.
to get this kinda
I
leeway.
I
Of
think
course,
it. Mm?
what was the number
Do
1
you know the
selling
number?
book of 1991?
The number one, Spawn.
No, Spawn was not out yet. Todd
Oh,
is still doing
I
Spawn
was
in
like,
1991.
um,
So there Spider-Man, just to give you a reference, Spider-Man ranked its best one was Spider-Man number 16. I think that's one of Todd's last 2 books, on the
okay,
book. Let me see, or is that his last issue? That's Todd's last issue on the book, my
that's
bad.
just the other book before he
That was the
jumps.
crossover. I'll give you a hint. The number 1 book is the group that crossed over
Mm-hmm.
with the Spider-Man title for Spider-Man 16. It wasn't that book, but it was the group. They had the number 1 book.
The group
Yep.
that crossed over with Spider-Man or with
That
so.
crossed over into the Spider-Man book in issue 16 of Spider-Man. The artist crossed over into Todd McFarlane's book. That's your hint.
The
This is
is,
really
is it?
quite easy. I'll give you another hint. It's probably the book that people, besides X-Men number 1,
Mm-hmm.
which is also on this list, volume
Yeah.
2 number 1, X-Men volume 2 number 1.
Uh.
It is probably the book that people think is their most valuable book in their collection if they're unfamiliar with comic book collecting.
So is it going to be the the Avengers crossover?
You're way too
Way
late there.
way too late. Okay, so
I'll
it's
give
like
you
3 years.
I'll give you one more hint. These poor characters have no feet.
X Force.
X-Force number 1.
I was gonna say X Force from the beginning, but then I was like,
You were doubting
no, it
yourself.
can't be. I was doubting
The only
myself.
the only DC book in the top 10 is, the Tim Drake Robin 2, Joker's Wild,
Okay.
for sales in the whole year. By the way, thank you, Comicron, who I back
Mm,
on who I back, monthly because I appreciate the work they do. I'm on their website right now, comicron.com. The Robin series was ranked up there. Infinity Gauntlet number 1 was number 42. That should show you how far the rest of and Warlock and Infinity Watch was 41. So that should show you how far down the rest of Marvel was. DC is nowhere to be found on this list at all. That's how far DC had dropped,
wow.
except for the Robin books.
Not even a
Uh,
Teen
I don't
Titans up there.
see I don't see another DC book in the top 100. Oh, but Batman Gotham Knights at number 100 on the
Oh
year.
wow.
We've got
Wow.
a couple Robin books, and the rest of these are Spider-Man, Uncanny X-Men,
Spider
Spider-Man,
Man.
some Ghost Rider,
Yeah.
more Infinity Gauntlet, New Mutants 87 second printing, which makes sense because they re-released
Mm-hmm.
the first appearance of Cable. Yeah, there
Mm-hmm.
you go. There's 1991. So it just, I guess, and then you're in 92. Let's look there. Now, see, now you would have been right because the number 2 book, number 1 is Superman number 75
Mm-hmm.
because Superman dead forever.
Yeah.
And that's where you get Spawn, Wildcats,
Spawn
all that in here.
Wildcats. Uh, let's see. Do we get Savage Dragon?
Oh my god, the number 7 book of 19 okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop this now. I was looking at
Okay.
92 too to see if we saw any Lobo. The
Huh.
number 7 book of 92, not that I'm distracted, is Punisher 2999 2099.
Uh,
How the hell?
29 2099. What was okay? I mm,
S- Spider-Man 2099 was number 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. And this is units sold. Dollars is
I'm
they have dollars here as well. I could sort by dollars.
Did you read some of those books, yeah? The
No.
2099s?
Later. Yeah, much
Oh,
later.
you should
They're
read some
not
of the
they're
other
not
early
great.
ones, and you should really ask some questions.
Well, the
You should.
2099 line, let's put out a line of books after we've lost our art all of our artists, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then expand our line. Like, that seems like a great idea. When when they should have been paring back, right? And putting their best artists with their best writers on their top books, they launch a whole nother line of books.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, no,
comics were hot, man. Everybody was buying everything. So, why
I think it
not?
was because, like, they're like, "Oh, well, everybody's telling these new news stories, so we should tell some new news stories too." And it's like, "We're gonna do a new spin on an old thing, and here you
Yeah.
go. Here's the old thing you love with a new spin." And it felt like you were getting that on, like, you were getting it from all sides. You're getting it in the Marvel side, you get out of some DC stuff with some of the, like, the Batman, the Batman stuff that you got, you know, as well later on. And it was like,
Yep.
uh, it I I feel like they did a better job with Batman than they did with any of the 2099 stuff, and some of, like, even in the Legion stuff too that they did, Leodion, and
Well,
stuff.
anyway,
But
when I go to 92, Lobo's down in the 200s of the top comics.
so he
Unfortunately,
wasn't a
I
popular
don't.
guy.
Yeah, well, he was, but for
He,
DC, but like in the big scheme of comics, no. And I don't have enough data from 91 to give you anything, unfortunately. Like they don't
well,
have enough on their
you,
site. So,
I'm gonna tell you what really did it. Why he wasn't so popular anymore is because he killed Santa Claus.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You kill Santa Claus, you lose your popularity, man.
One, also, it's kind of amazing when you start to think about this because like how DC went down. So, Legends of the Dark Knight in 1990 was the top 1, 2, and 3 selling books
Hmm.
for the year with the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man right below, and then Batman, and Spider-Man right below it. That's
Yeah.
probably thanks to the movie a little bit too, right?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
But then yeah, they fall off quick, and they really only get it sales due to their gimmick stuff. But then 93 because of the collector stuff, 92 it's the Superman death issue, and then all the Superman uh a whole bunch of the so the soup so I mean, as much as this death of Superman thing is hated, it got DC back to the top of sales.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
because it got
I
people
mean,
wanting to find out, like, how could this happen? Oh my gosh.
of course, it
You know,
also, 3 years later destroyed the comics industry, so
hey, we don't talk about that a lot here.
we don't talk about Fight Club here. But anyway, uh, yeah,
We don't talk
that
about
short
Fight Club.
but I mean, I think, one of the things with Lobo is it's crazy to me how much leeway they had with Lobo,
Hmm.
even though the character, even though much beloved now, and now you had the Lobo and Crush stuff a couple years ago. But eh, I mean, they gave Giffen a lot of leeway, hoping something would spark, I guess. And yeah, there you go. So
He's a character that you love and love to hate and hate to love and love to hate and hate to love, like a vicious cycle. It's like riding a bicycle with flip-flops, you know. It's dangerous, but you do it anyways, you know. You pick up a Lobo book and you read
it happens.
it while you're eating a popsicle with, no hands. Wait, I don't.
Well, and just I mean, Keith Giffen is obviously amazing and had an amazing career, but just talking about how far the stock had fallen. We read another Giffen book, as you'll
Yeah.
recall. The
Yes.
Legion of Substitute Heroes special,
Correct.
one of your favorites.
Yes. Yes, I liked it. It was fun. It was a good read.
And back in 1985, so 7 years or 6 years before this book, that book was number not for the year, but it was number 12 for the month
Mhm.
it was released. And Crisis, just to put it in context, Crisis number 4 was out and Secret Wars 2 number 1 was out that month.
Mhm.
So, and Legion is still in the top and you're still, but anyway, times change, but DC stock had really fallen by that point. It's really interesting. So, letting him go to a playground, being a little bit more edgy. We're also starting to get more Vertigo stuff coming out in the next couple of years, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sandman and things like that. So, because of their lagging sales, obviously obviously shotgunned to Superman and almost destroyed the industry.
But they
But
decided to
you get
open up a
experimental,
whole new yeah, open up this whole entire venue for even more creativity by having that imprint,
and
and yeah.
if they don't get forced to get experimental by Image, by the creators leaving,
Mhm.
then we may not have a lot of what we have now.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Yeah, and you end up getting a lot of really cool stuff coming out of there, filtering
well,
back in.
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I guess we probably should start wrapping this up. I had fun talking about
I
stuff
had a great
besides that.
time. Yeah. This is a great holiday book. If I don't say so. Not because it just left you all warm and fuzzy, but because it had dolphins in it. And that was
Well,
the that was the takeaway. Um, Everything else
I
is super
decided
dark and depressing and sad.
I
Yes.
decided for next week that we would go
Yeah.
down a different path.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Instead of reading, this week we read Keith Giffen's take on Santa Claus. But
Mhm.
next week we get to read Mark Wade's take on Santa Claus joining the Justice League of America.
Oh my gosh. Heaven
JLA
help
number
me.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You are the
Oh
one that
gosh.
asked for holiday books.
I did ask for holiday books. This is my fault, people. I asked for it. If you ask, you shall receive, and
Well,
therefore I got what I asked for. Dan
if you
is a
couldn't find
fantastic
if you couldn't
host.
find Lobo's Paramilitary Christmas Special in the dollar bins because we didn't tell you to go find it and just announced it this week and didn't tell you we were
Mhm.
reading it until because we didn't decide what we were reading until yesterday.
Go find it.
We will tell you for next week. You have time. Go to the
Yeah.
dollar bins. In fact, one place you might be able to find some JLA books if they were put out on the shelves, which they probably aren't because they're probably just in the back room. But I bet possibly on the shelves at the Retro Emporium on Meeker Street in Kent, Washington, you can find some JLA dollar books sitting on those shelves. And if you went in to see Greg and
Yeah.
Ann and you were
Huh?
looking for those books, you
Mhm.
could probably find one. And
Yep.
while you're
Mhm.
there on the what day? You can see Krampus.
Uh, on the 13th of,
Oh,
December,
it's never mind.
that would
Krampus has
already
come
happened.
and gone. Krampus has left the building.
Yes, he's already Krampused everywhere.
I should have announced Krampus last week. I thought I was doing
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
thing. I thought Krampus was the next week, but Krampus
Ah,
is cramped out.
you have cramped our style.
Krampus was
You've
a
Krampused our
reason
style.
for Lobo to show up at the store. Well, you can still go to the
Yeah,
Retro Emporium for many last minute gifts. You can probably see Greg during the
yeah,
holidays.
yeah.
Additionally, you could
Yes.
pick up as a great holiday gift for uh, adults and kids alike,
Huh?
uh, Absolute Zero's Camp Launchpad.
What? Where? At the Retro Emporium? No way. That's amazing.
You could
Yes, you
get it at the
could.
Retro Emporium. You could get it at Amazon.com. You could get it at
Uh-huh.
local bookstores around the Kent, Washington area where you're likely to
Yeah.
find one signed by Greg.
Yeah, oh, Barnes& and Noble. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you could
Yeah.
pick that up. You could also follow my new
Eh?
podcast.
What's that?
Well, I don't think anybody's gonna like it here.
What is it?
Well, it's called Abs at 50, and it's not very festive because it
Abs
involves
at
not eating
50.
lots of sweet treats. But,
Is it a
uh,
real podcast or is it
it is a
charity?
real podcast. It is a real podcast. I am on a quest to see my abdominal muscles below the fat on my stomach at 50 years old. I started this quest on
Uh-huh.
my birthday on October 31st, and
Yeah?
jujitsu lawyer Paul
Yeah?
is helping me get there. So, jujitsu and I, lawyer Paul and I have released podcast number one. You can find that at Abs at 50 uh,
Okay.
in any of your podcast locations, including, as I was setting up right before this podcast started, on YouTube/YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict.
Uh-huh.
Stitcher doesn't exist anymore, but if it did, it would be there.
Get it there.
Yeah. I was thinking not Stitcher, but that other podcast place, Spotify. Yeah, that
Oh, Spotify.
you can find it there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find it everywhere. So
What about
there's a
Podcast
teaser out.
Doghouse?
There's a teaser out. You could listen to that. So if you want to join me on this journey, and if you think I can't do it, that's okay. And you could follow it
I
on
believe in
YouTube.
you.
Hey, and if you honestly too, we never beg for this, but if you want to go to YouTube and give us a like or a follow,
Oh,
that'd be cool. And you can do it with the new podcast too. Or you could just, like it. You could leave a review. We get reviews on Facebook like, if you like banter, listen to us.
that's true. People say our banter sounds really fun. And then they're like, wow, you guys sound like really fun guys. And then they see us in real life and they're like, oh, you guys suck.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's how we had one
No.
listener for so long. Like, people just know how bad we suck, and that's okay.
No. They're they're like, "Wow, you guys are actually pretty fun. Let's go let's go eat at this place called Shake Shake Shake." And then Dan's like, "I don't want to eat at Shake Shake Shake. I went to
You can't
Fish
even
Fish
say
Fish
it
and
because
it
it's like fish, fish, fish. I don't even
and
wanna hear
it
it.
didn't have any fish."
Podcast is
And I was like,
over. It's done.
"This is."
Nope. We're not rehashing the steak, shake, fish, fish, fish conversation right now. All right, we're done for the day.
No,
Happy
no, no.
holidays.
Okay.
Go see
Hold
Greg at
on.
the Retro Emporium.
Okay, but
Don't go
really
to
quick
Fish, Fish,
though.
Fish because it doesn't
Can,
exist anymore because it was so
can,
terrible.
is your it's abs over 50, right?
Abs at 50.
Abs at 50. Is it a
I'm not
video
over
podcast
50.
or is
I
it a
am
podcast
50.
where is it I know. It's but it's so that you get abs at 50 and then you'll have abs when you are over 50, correct?
Well, we'll see how long the abs stay, but a
Okay,
lot
and
of
then
it's just about losing body fat and being healthy.
okay, well, I'm asking questions because I know that listeners probably want to know. Are they going to get eating tips, exercise techniques and things that they can do themselves? Are
This
these the things
is
that you and
you'll
Paul,
get a little bit about that, but this is mostly
yeah,
following the journey. So,
following the
whatever
journey
steps
be
I
with,
take in the journey, it could
yeah?
we plan to even talk we will talk about some sort of tips. We'll dispel some myths. One of the things we'll likely
Huh?
talk about is like that, there's all these things that people talk about. You can change this in your diet, this, whatever, but it's really about calories in and calories out, right? Like, if you
Uh-huh.
work out and you burn 2,800 calories a day, but you're trying to lose weight, then you need to eat like 18 to 2,200 calories in my case.
Wow.
So it'll be things like that. And we
Okay.
calculate it out. You also shouldn't crash diet. Like, we're not crash
Uh-huh.
dieting here. We're doing it slowly over time. So these are some of the
Okay.
things we'll talk about, including Paul calling me out in the first episode and saying, "Yeah, Dan's just doing this for vanity."
Dan is doing it
So
for
you're
vanity.
so you're
Is it
getting sheer
Danity or
honesty,
vanity?
and it's Danity, I
Danity?
think. But yeah, I mean, I'm
Danity!
doing it for my health, but yeah, I want to look good too. I mean, that's a part of it. I want to look and feel good.
Alright.
So, but yeah,
Abs,
so and
it's
probably
abs
on the YouTube
over
channel,
abs at yeah?
Abs at 50. Now, on the YouTube
Abs.
channel, I will start releasing some video shorts and things like that, so you can see a little bit of the journey too, because this is a journey you probably have to see a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Subscribed.
at some point,
You
if you want to see me without my shirt on, which I don't know
uh-huh.
why at this point anybody would, but that might show up there.
Well,
So
you just gotta
feel
another
free to go to the
prescription.
comments and completely make fun of me and say I can't do it. That only inspires me to work harder to get it done.
Get it done, Dan. We wanna see abs, 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 so you can
I
go
do
to
too.
shake, 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 and get your
No, there's no shake, shake, shake. You know what? Honestly, though,
Yeah?
I am gonna wrap this up as I'm sure people are bored already of me advertising for my other podcast, but I had a milkshake the other night and it was
Yeah?
fine. Here's
Was
the
it a
thing.
protein milkshake? Or just a
No,
regular
it was a
milkshake?
real milkshake.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it was a
I'm
regular
asking because 'cause
milkshake.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, we genuinely, my roommate Kiahi, my Paul Jujitsu Paul at the time of this recording is coming back from Brazil, so Jujitsu Paul is
That's
out of
right.
town. So my roommate Kiahi wanted to have hamburgers and shakes,
Mhm,
and so I looked at my calories for the day, and I had not eaten very much in the day, and so I looked and said, okay, this cheeseburger is going to be this amount of calories. This milkshake is going to
mhm.
be this amount of calories. And these fries are going to be this amount of calories. And I've been using a little scale and you all might think this is crazy, but I weighed out the fries I got to eat.
Mhm,
And it was like a, 12-ounce milkshake or whatever. And I plugged that in. I'm using a little app called Fat Secret, plugged things in. It's just a calorie counting app and tracks
yeah.
and plugged it in. And I have to be between 18 and 2,200 calories a day. And I think for that day, I was at like 2,250 and I was fine. So I was
Yeah.
happy. I had my shake and it was fine. Now, should I have a shake every day? No, that would be stupid. Yeah, should I have a bunch of sugar every day to eat those calories up? No, I mean, I shouldn't say that's stupid. Eat what you want, right? Like people eat, be happy.
Right.
But in trying to attain this goal, is that the right course? That's probably the dumb course, right? If I was trying to meet the goal.
You
But
wanna eat
what you're
healthy
gonna
foods.
find, and I probably will throw a couple pictures of some of the things I eat at night, right? You're gonna find
Yeah,
I'm finding some days that eating 2,200 calories is actually difficult and if
I
you're not
bet.
paying attention, it's pretty easy. But I found, I can shoot a picture. I grabbed a picture of a steak, pineapple, and rice I had for dinner.
Mhm.
Looked really amazing. You would have been very happy with those choices,
Yeah.
and you would have enjoyed the meal, and anybody would have. And so, anyway, I don't want to spend. I keep saying I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but if you want to learn about it, yeah, come grab the podcast. We just have one episode out now, but we're going to keep expanding on it. And those are kind of some of the things we'll talk about too. Like you can eat what you want. You just can't eat everything you want. You know, I
Mhm.
but you can eat what you want, right? You just can't eat everything you want. And I think that's kind of the mantra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it makes
it's
sense, dude.
it's not and a lot of it's just paying attention. Paul points it out in the first episode. You can
Yeah.
easily drink your way to over 2,200 calories, right? You can easily
Oh, I bet.
one of the things, I used to grab handfuls of that you're aware is, dark chocolate covered almonds from
Uh-huh.
Trader Joe's.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And, a couple
Because
of
'Cause they're
handfuls of
delicious.
those they're delicious, but nuts are very have high caloric density, and
Yep.
so
Mhm.
you just have to if you're not paying attention, boom, you've eaten 1,200 calories in chocolate covered almonds. So that's the
Yep.
kind of things we're thinking about. Paul mentions
Mhm.
Dan, shouldn't have lots of cashews around the house because I love
Oh, yeah.
cashews and they're calorically dense and I'll eat them up. So even some seemingly healthy foods, you could not be paying attention to and just eat a lot of. So,
Yeah.
if you get into calorie counting, so I think it's more of getting a goal and paying attention to it,
Mhm.
but I'm not depriving myself of anything. I've eaten a whole bunch of foods, including a full Thanksgiving spread
See?
during this
It can
journey.
be
So,
done. Wow. I mean, I think it's a journey that I think if the listeners like coming on are seeing what we do on Funny Book Forensics, they'll probably want to go on the journey with you on Abs at 50. So, I mean, on this sneak peek of Abs at 50 on Funny Book Forensics that they just got.
yeah. Yeah, and join us. I mean, we'll do our best
Join
to
Dan.
make it entertaining. The first episode's a lot of what are Dan's goals and why are we doing this, but you'll start to get some of the banter along the way too. And
Mhm.
I know coming up, I shot some pictures. I know you all are going to be like, "Ooh, this is super exciting!" But we shot video of me carrying sandbags around the jiu-jitsu lawyer Paul's gym. things like that. So just to show you what the journey is about, but it's not all about just carrying sandbags around, but it's a lot about just thinking and being conscious of what you're doing. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
And I want this, so I'm gonna try.
I'm 100% supportive of the journey. I will listen to your journey. I will be there with you on this journey. And you know, I gosh darn it, Dan, don't make me go on the journey with you because now I'm actually like, well, I'm already doing some of the workout stuff anyways.
Mm. Yep,
Stupid.
you
Now I
are.
just got to start counting the calories.
Yep.
Ah,
I
why
can
not?
even show you what little
Me,
stupid little scale I bought.
gosh
I
darn
didn't buy
it.
it for this. I already had it. So,
I got a little scale too because I got to measure all the foods for the babas and the dogs. Gosh darn
oh
it, dude.
well,
Okay, well,
you might as well do this.
stupid.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
What?
Right
What?
now, you don't
Uh,
have to do the whole thing, but
uh,
you're gonna have to
yeah.
come down to Jujitsu Paul's gym,
Uh,
stand on the body fat scale,
yeah. And see
figure
where
out
I'm
what it
at.
is, and set
Uh,
a goal for yourself.
okay.
You don't
I
have
could
to
probably do
do
that.
the abs at 50, get down to 15% body fat thing, but come down and set a reasonable goal for yourself. That's all I'm at. That a lot of I will just say this. Let's end with this on the preview of abs at 50. I'm not saying everybody has to get abs at 50, right? That's not the goal of
Yeah.
this, but I want you to go on this journey with me to see what I do
Mhm,
and to see like it's going to not be easy all the time. Sometimes it'll be really easy. But I want you to just see what I'm doing. And some of the things being conscious about your food and your health is pretty easy.
mhm,
That's one thing that is. It's and sometimes some days it's hard. At work tomorrow, I'm actually not. I'm going to a different office because they're having like an office party, and I'm going to skip it.
yeah,
Now I
yeah,
don't know a lot of these folks, so that's okay. They're bringing.
yeah,
I work for a company. I'm not saying which one that is bringing people back to the office. That's enough of a hint that you get.
mhm,
But I'm gonna go to a different workplace that where I know folks and would be supported throughout the day in my journey as opposed to going up there. I mean, sometimes it's making a choice about the people you're around are around.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I'm not saying like it's always easy, like, oh yeah, it's easy because they're having like my favorite thing, like holiday hot drinks, like hot chocolate and things like that. But
mhm. Yeah,
it's you can do it. And Greg, yeah, you should come down. Come down to the
maybe
Jiu-Jitsu Paul's gym. We'll get on the scale and we'll set your own goal for you. Like I said, it doesn't have to be 15%. And you don't even have to share your goal with the listeners
it's
unless you want
something.
to. But I'll share mine. I started at
Okay.
29.7, I think, with percent body fat, and we're trying to get to 15. And when I started with Paul training, it was 33% body fat. So, that was a year and a half ago, and we've
Mhm.
slowly done the right things. And now I just want to be more conscious about my eating.
Okay.
Come do it. Why not?
Okay.
There we go.
Damn it,
You're the one that
Dan.
volunteered. Yep.
I
You
know.
volunteered
Well,
though.
you've been trying to get me you've been very supportive in me trying to get healthier and when I got hurt earlier this year and doing all the exercise stuff that I've been doing, you've been very supportive in that. So, uh might as well if I got to continue on this path anyways for what I'm doing on this, I should just continue other stuff too. So,
There you go. Well,
yeah.
on that note, we'll be back on Funny Book Forensics land and not Abs at 50 land next week with JLA number 60, where
Woo!
Santa Claus joins the Justice League because
Yes.
that's what Santa Claus should do. After all, Superman delivered all those presents that one year. So
That's right.
So Santa should be paying Superman back by carrying some of the weight there.
Yeah, that's right, Santa. Wait, he's alive?
Of course he's alive.
Oh
That
god.
wasn't actually Santa. Remember, it was a different planet.
Oh, different Santa, different universe. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Okay, okay,
It
okay.
wasn't a different
Whew.
universe. It was in outer space.
Space Santa.
Anyway, that's it. We're out. We're done.
Alright.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.